looking back at the Worldwide Celebration, it was a really good one. I mean, honestly, I feel like the Worldwide Celebration is one of the best celebrations that Dokkan has. Obviously, because we're on different timelines from JP, so being on the joint celebration is top tier. That really helps with it, of course. But another thing that's a massive W is that we get extreme units. So, like, obviously in part 1, we got the LR Tech Fusion Zamasu, who was a massive, massive W. This guy exceeded everyone's expectations, I think. I don't know, me personally, I was expecting these characters to be on Orange Piccolo level or even better. And while they are probably just as good as Orange Piccolo, I almost feel like OP, LROP Tech Orange Piccolo, I feel like he's still one of the best units in the game, if not better than them. But still, this guy's insane. One of the best first slot units Extreme has, period. Massive WV, and he's so sick, too. We got the Extreme Domain with him. Very awesome unit. Not disappointed with Zamasu at all. Same with Vegito. Obviously these guys had their fraud moment throughout the year. People were hating. As Goku and Vegeta, they have their moments. The transformation conditions are not amazing on these guys, which is what really sucks here. Being restricted to Future Saga or Turn 7, and then having to be below a health threshold. Then you stop guarding by the turn that you have to transform. It's a whole mess when it doesn't work out. But when it does work, this unit fries. I love this unit. Not to mention, we got some of the best leader skills in the game. The 150 Superclass lead, which is really amazing. Like, as a newer player, like, if you don't have a lot of leader skills and stuff, this 150 lead will probably come in clutch a hell of a lot of times. So, yeah, massive W's there. We definitely got some really good Part 1 units, no question. The Divine Wrath Immortal Will was actually a pretty fun event in my opinion. I thought they changed it up with that. We got some super class events in there that were really challenging as well. So I thought that was a pretty W event that they dropped along with everything. Side banner units. STR Mai, pretty solid unit. I thought she was pretty good. I got 2 dupes of her, so obviously that helps with her needing to super twice. But at the end of the day, we got this easy Mai later on. Who honestly, getting that, it seems like, because they both need a super to get their buffs. And it seems like her great chance to evade kind of is more reliable at times than this 40% damage reduction after supering, whatever it is. Just because, or 30%, whatever it is. Just because, not taking any damage versus reducing damage is a very big difference at times. Then we got this very unfortunate physical Zamasu. I love his intro, man. Super fire OST, but holy crap. Is he kind of an L unit, man? Is he kind of an L? It's just these damn super class restricted units, dude. I love his intro, but the super class restrictions are painful, man. They can be the death of a unit for sure. Who else did we get? We got the Tech Trunks EZA, who I was a big fan of. He nukes on the final stage, transformation. Greatly stacked leading up to it. I thought he was a super, super sick EZA. I was really happy with this guy. And then obviously, probably the best EZA of the worldwide, I'm pretty sure, right? Right? Hold on, let's take a look. Yeah, no question. Easily the best EZA of the worldwide. Well, I don't own this Gohan, so I can't say for sure. But I think the AGL Zamasu is more broken, right? This guy is nuts, bro. The fact that he has 40% damage reduction off rip, recovers HP, goes up to 50%, all while stacking, bro. And then he hits like a truck with 30% damage reduction on his final transformation. This guy's so fun, dude. The Gohan is easily, if the Gohan's not the best EZA, he's the second best EZA of the event. He's nuts, man. Zamasu is better mostly because villains needed it. That's true. That's true. A villain EZA being a dub is just an even bigger dub in itself. And the Gohan is good though, yeah, for sure. My opinion, the Tech Trunks has gone up a lot. Like, he's getting better and better. Like, you're liking him more and more. Yeah, I really like the Tech Trunks. And I was really lucky to pull him with at 80%, bro. I came into the event worldwide with no copies of this Tech Trunks. Now I have him at 80, so very big W there. Once he reaches mutated, it's game over. It's so good. Same with LR Rose. Yeah, man, they did such a great job with this AGL Zamasu. I'm so glad they didn't flop that, because you'll see in the later parts, it gets rocky, but part 1, because that's kind of where it ends off there. I think the final EZA we got in part 1 as far as characters was this Trunks, who I don't know what his purpose was. This Trunks with an EZA, he's really good in cell events and against androids and stuff. I don't know. But yeah, that was the final EZA in part 1. Part 1 was filled with really good drops, decent side banner units, fantastic EZAs, really fun events, tons of stones. It was a really good part 1. I think part 1 was easily the best part of the worldwide, which I don't think is a surprise. Obviously, they're going to try to go in with a banger or whatever, but yeah, massive, massive W for part 1 for sure. I really liked it. And then we entered the part 2 of the event with super hype. So, okay, so here's the good and the bad. Let's talk about it, because this is really important. So, also, I should have thrown this out there. The only worldwide that I've ever played was the first one. Or, I'm sorry, the one before this, the Cooler, Metal Cooler, and Cooler movie. I started playing during Year 7, right? So I'm only really comparing it to that. And, having Super and Extreme in Part 1 and then a Super and Extreme in Part 2, that was great. I think that's what they've been doing for a few worldwides, and that's kind of what everyone was expecting. And, of course, we got our Extreme unit in Part 1, but then we got our Part 2 this year, and it was 2 Super units. And, again, if you guys... For anyone who doesn't know, Dokkan, for some reason, they don't love Extreme units. The Extreme units in this game are few and far between. Some of them just suck. Like, the teams are restrictive. So, just all those things combined, like, everyone was expecting a second really good or just usable Extreme unit, summonable Extreme. So the fact that we just got 1 Extreme unit out of the 4 news for this part 2 of the worldwide, I don't think everyone was super happy with that. However, going into the good, we got a Dokkan exclusive Father's Son Kamehameha with Goku and Piccolo showing up here any second now. There they are. But yeah, this unit's so good, so broken, so top tier, such a cool character. Like, if them replacing the possible Extreme unit with somebody else was risky, but they did great choosing Gohan. I would assume Gohan was the considered replacement, because Trunks was kind of expected. You know what I mean? Everyone was expecting a Trunks essentially. So the Gohan was a surprise. I feel like the Gohan quote unquote replaced the Extreme unit. So, and the Trunks isn't bad either. He's not as broken as the Gohan. Still a pretty solid pick for sure, though. I personally don't love the Trunks. The Gohan's world's better, but the Trunks isn't bad at all. He's really funny, sick. But yeah, and then it was Legendary Carnival, which not everybody loves. The first part was the red coins, which is always better. So yeah, part 2, that was an unfortunate way to start it. Oh, also, I wanted to not forget, we also had a free-to-play Trunks who EZA'd. We got him in part 1, and I think he EZA'd in part 2, right? And yeah, he's actually pretty sick. He's not like broken or anything. He's not like a game-breaking unit who's gonna carry you through events, but he's pretty fun, and he's the first ever superclass domain. So, but yeah, and then some of the EZAs we got a decent batch of EZAs in part 2. I actually don't have this Gohan. I haven't looked into him. Not the most insane unit. Massively raises attack. Oh, that's sick. So he's massively stacking. Is that what that is? That's kind of crazy. It doesn't look like the worst EZA ever. I don't own him, so I can't really say much about him. I know that this Trunks and Zamasu were some of the best, though. This Zamasu is really good. Up to 60% damage reduction. Pretty insane. Additional super attacks and whatnot. He's a really good addition to the Extreme teams. And then this Trunks got a pretty good EZA as well. Again, defensive-wise, pretty good damage reduction. The Zamasu is a hair better, but pretty solid. And then, I don't know, these guys got a good EZA when you're in a Zamasu Future Saga event with a Super Saiyan God Goku on your team, or Super Saiyan God unit on your team, and you have a Future Saga unit in your team. You need all these things, but when you have all these stars aligned, these guys are an insane EZA. So, I love and hate that. They're broken, but only in the perfect event with the perfect stuff lined up. And then this Trunks got an EZA. Is this a free-to-play Trunks? I don't even know, actually. Oh, yeah, it is. SR. Yeah, free-to-play Trunks EZA. Again, not the most game-breaking unit, but honestly not the worst unit. High chance of guarding when there's 4 Entrusted Will category allies on the team. Good clutch for you. If he could be a good filler on your team if you need him to be. But yeah, part 2, nothing else really happening outside of that. I don't even know did we get a new Red Zone in part 2? I think we did, right? Yeah. I think this was when we got the final stage. Yeah, stage 5 of the Ultimate Red Zone, I'm pretty sure. Pretty damn hard-hitting event, dude, with those AoEs. Oh, my God. And definitely a pretty tough challenge. We don't have Omega Shenron. Not the Red Zone, but like the Dragon, the Shadow Dragon events one. We don't have that yet on Global, so wondering if that's technically harder than the newest Red Zone, but who knows. It's pretty much it for part 2. It kind of slowly dripped off from there. Was this guy in part 3 or part 2, actually? I don't remember. Doesn't really matter because he was a massive L. But, oh, I think it was part 3, right? Yeah, I think he was right before part 3. Yeah, I think right before part 3, we got our second to last EZA of the event. Int Goku Black, man, this guy, he's so cool. He transforms into Rose. He has pretty sick super attack animations, too. It was my first time using him after the EZA, and, man, he was a disappointment, bro. This, again, super class restriction, which still isn't even the greatest thing to get. Slight chance of additionaling twice. High chance. He's greatly stacking defense. I mean, he is almost a pretty good unit. But yeah, a lot's holding him back. I hate the super class restrictions, though. That's definitely a massive one. And yeah, he's really just not doing a ton. Like, just not what people expected out of that. Especially with not getting the extreme part 2 summonable unit like we were expected. You know, I was like at least hoping or expecting the EZAs to be wild. But anyways, that was our part 2 EZA. And then we got our final EZA, part 3, LR Rose. Definitely not bad. Definitely not anywhere near as bad as this Int TUR EZA. Nowhere near as bad. Not broken, not game breaking. You know, I think people wanted a little bit more out of him. But he's definitely sick. As long as you're not first slotting him, you know, as long as you're getting those key spheres off, which is this whole thing. Or getting his key as high as possible. Bro, he's putting up some good numbers, and he's getting his defense really high. So, I really like him. But, man, it's crazy. At the end of the day, if you don't have just some sprinkle of damage reduction, dodge, guarding, I don't know, man. Just something wild in your kit. Even just raising your defense to over 1 million like he can do, it's not always the most clutch, you know? But, all in all, he's a really solid EZA. I like him. I'm not upset with him at all, so... W there. I'm just glad they didn't shaft him once again. So rating the units, I would probably say, out of the 4 new summonable LRs, I'd say, so it's debatable for number 1 because I feel like Tech Zamasu is built the best for sure. He's got the best kit solo, you know what I mean? However, Gohan's got access to way better teams, or more variety, I should say, and better teams, options and stuff. I would say that the Tech Zamasu and Gohan are almost competing for number 1. I would put Zamasu at number 1 though, because he is so busted, bro. Not being able to die for 4 turns while just putting up dumb numbers, and then his domain making him invincible. I would say Zamasu's the best worldwide unit that we got, followed by Gohan, followed by Vegito, and then 4 out of 4 Trunks. But that's the thing. Another thing to mention compared to last worldwide is... Last worldwide, we got our part 1 units were really good, right? Birdku and LR Cooler were top tier. Even today, they're still really runnable. Whereas the part 2 units, we got the Metal Cooler and the AGL Duo. Those guys, you don't run too much nowadays. I feel like this Gohan and this Trunks are going to age way better than the part 2 units from last worldwide. So that little comparison is a nice little W to throw in there. You know, it sucks that we didn't get an extreme unit, but... better units is still good. For you, it's Gohan, Zamasu, Vegito, Trunks. Yeah, again, I completely agree with you, Central. I think Gohan and Zamasu is very debatable for number 1. But I think Zamasu's domain, making him invincible, on top of his other broken parts of his kit, I think that makes him number 1, man. He's the extreme unit we needed, brother. He's awesome. But yes, Gohan number 1 is so debatable for sure. But yeah, all in all, I would say it was a pretty W worldwide. I was happy with it. I think all 4 units are going to age really well, which is honestly, I think, one of the most important things. Could have got some better EZAs, maybe a couple better side banner units, but the events were great. We kept ourselves entertained throughout it all. Redzones were great. And they gave a ton of stones. I don't know about you guys, but I felt like they were shoving stones down our throat during this this worldwide. They really came in clutch with the stones, so massive W there. All in all, I would say it's better than last worldwide, and if I had to give it a rating out of 10, I would probably give this worldwide a very, 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 very solid, probably 8.5, I'm going to say, out of 10. 8.5 out of 10. It could have used an extreme unit in part 2. Could have used one more summonable extreme. Could have not gotten shafted on just one more of these EZAs. And that's pretty much it, honestly. Maybe the side banner units could have just been a hair better. All in all, I'm going to say 8.5 out of 10 for sure. So yeah, pretty good worldwide. Hopefully we get 2 extreme summonables next year, because I'm telling you, man, that is a huge, huge game-breaking thing for extreme units. Again, I'm still holding out hope that maybe Dokkan has some really awesome, more than ever extreme units planned throughout the year. You know, maybe they're going to drop more than ever, and, you know, who knows what they've got in store for why they shafted us on an summonable extreme. But either way, very solid worldwide. I had a lot of fun. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it too. And yeah, hopefully next year's is is even better. Let's shoot for a 9 next year.